Hi and welcome back to the Citizen channel. You're all staying safe and well. We've got a part 2. Make sure you've checked out part 1, guys. This is a little thank you to James McAtee, who, as I'm recording this, left to join Nottingham Forest. Who knows? Will we ever see him back? Probably not. Not under Pep anyway. He's not. I think for 2 or 3 years I've been saying I don't think, even though Pep tried to squeeze him into the team, he was ever really making Pep think he was always going to be a regular in his team anyway. But good luck to him. If you're watching this, James, good luck, mate. And yeah, check out part 1 if you've not already done so. Please, guys, if you like what I try and do on the channel, or if you've not already subscribed, please do so. Or smash that like button. It's lovely to get views. I get lots of views, but it's nice to get those likes. It makes you feel a little bit better in yourself, you know, and you put a bit of effort into stuff like this. Right, let's have a look at this. In part 1, we'd left at the end of season 2021-22. James had trained and finally got minutes on the pitch for the City first team after doing great stuff at the various underage levels and then Premier League 2, of course. He actually got starts in all 4 major competitions, which we looked at in part 1. And in part 2, of course, we would continue to further his development, initially away from the club, but of course he would come back. But we're going to have a look at that in part 2. Right, on to season 22-23, 2022-23. On the 4th of July, happy Independence Day, 2022, McAtee joined Championship club Sheffield United on a season-long loan aside City teammate Tommy Doyle. Sheffield United would progress, of course, in the FA Cup this season into the semi-final to face us, but of course he was unable to play, as of course he can't play against his parent club due to FA rules. They get some things right, don't they? His stats for the Blades: he made 43 appearances, almost 2,400 minutes, 9 goals and 4 assists. He made 2 briefer sub-appearances also that season for the under-21s. On to season 23-24. Interesting enough, during pre-season, McAtee returned to City and was part of the first team squad that travelled to Asia, and he started the first 45 minutes in a 5-3 win over Yokohama F. Marinos on the 23rd of July. Richard Fay for the Manchester Evening News scored him a 6, saying bright movement off the ball and some strong challenges. Another first 45 minutes for McAtee in the next game against Bayern Munich, and he put City 1-0 up on 21 minutes in an eventual 2-1 City win. An Alvarez shot was partly blocked, but McAtee was on hand. Sniffer we'll call him. Sniffer McAtee was on hand to score from about a yard out. Richard Fay for the Manchester News said struggled to get into the game before his goal. He scored him a 7 out of 10. He was a 55th minute substitute for Erling Haaland in a 2-1 defeat though to Atletico Madrid on the 30th of July. As we ended our tour in defeat. Richard Fay said about that: a live wiring attack, made one of City's best chances but needed better end product. He only scored him 6 out of 10 that time. He was an unused sub in the penalty defeat to Arsenal on the 6th of August Community Shield game at Wembley. He was a late sub, a 95th minute replacement for Walker in a 3-0 win at Burnley on the 11th of August. City lifted the Super Cup beating Sevilla on penalties. He was again on the bench, and also for the narrow 1-0 win over Newcastle on the 19th of August. Ironically, he returned on loan to Sheffield United on the 1st of September, just 5 days after he warmed the bench against them on the 27th of August in a 2-1 City win in Sheffield. As a show of faith, there was an option to buy for the Blades, but McAtee was happy to return for regular first-team football, this time in the Premier League with the South Yorkshire club. Sheffield and James did struggle at times all this season, though he remained one of their best players. He made 32 league and cup appearances, 1,944 minutes, approximately. I don't know how they can be precise on that. 5 goals and 4 assists, and he made 10 under-21 appearances, with a total of 624 minutes, scoring 5 goals for the England under-21s. And more importantly, on to what will be his last full season, sadly, as City, and a time when he's going to get some more game time, of course. We're going to have a look at season 2024-25. Back with the Blues, Pep was positive about the forthcoming season with City for James McAtee. And of course, first up was a 4-game trip to the USA. In a 4-3 loss to Glasgow Celtic on the 24th of July, Joe Bray of the Manchester Evening News said of James's game, backed by Guardiola to shine this season, he struggled to influence the game on his first outing and was replaced at the break. Not a bad performance, but not a great one. Scored him a 6. I also was doing little ratings at the time. I scored him a 6 as well. I said he started well but faded out, but at least looked like he had played at a higher level or high level before. Also in the starting 11 on the 27th of July, a 3-2 loss to AC Milan. Simon Pekowski said of his performance, it's a big summer for McAtee. It certainly was. He wants to stay and has the manager's backing. He says he must make an impact when he gets a chance. After a quiet first half, followed a quiet opening game, McAtee was in the right place to nod home after Hamilton's cross to get his season up and running. He scored him a 7 out of 10. I was a little bit unkinder. I give him a 6.5 out of 10. I said he didn't start very well, including a poor clearing header that went straight to AC Milan, and moments later they equalised. A half chance was lifted over by McAtee in the second half, but shortly after a great run and goal as he ghosted in at the far post to head home from 6 yards out from a Hamilton cross. It was a well-worked cross in a better second half for him. He will look a better option in and around better players, added comment at the time. In a 2-2 draw with Barcelona on the 30th of July, Joe Bray said of his outing, you don't often notice McAtee, but he's often just doing the basics right. And the covered defenders who went forward, nice link up with fellow frontmen, give him a 6 out of 10. I also scored him a 6. I said the least noticeable, which is not always a bad thing when others are doing bits around him. City finished off the tour with a win over Chelsea 4-2 on the 3rd of August. Joe Bray said of James again, better again, did everything right, and a smart assist for Haaland's hat-trick goal. Guardiola will probably like the fact that he's done the unspectacular very well. He scored him a 7. Again, a little less from me, I give him a 6.5. I said he does a non-spectacular job and adds two assists. The better the players around him, the neater and better he plays. His first assist was for Bob, but made it 3-0, and Haaland for 4-0 was his second assist. On to Wembley and the Manchester Derby Community Shield on the 10th of August, which ended in a City win on penalties. Some key match action included McAtee on the 25th minute, a mistake by arthritic Johnny Evans, this is from my match report, who stumbles, allows Bob to play the ball to James McAtee. A curled effort from left to right and sees his shot thump the post with Onana looking lost. He wasn't involved though in the penalties. He was replaced by Bernardo on 80 minutes. The Manchester Evening News said some lovely bits of play, including turning past 2 United players to set up a Bob chance and then hitting the post minutes later. I said he's used to playing championship quality teams, so he will be happy though. Again, some of his final balls were not always spot on, but I did give him a 6.5. Simon Mullock for the Daily Star said positive for City and deserved better when he killed a shot against the far post. Despite the positives, he will find game time hard to come by despite City's growing injury list. He appeared to have his own seat on the subs bench at times. We saw him briefly off the bench for the matchday 2, a 4-1 home win over Ipswich on the 24th of August. He replaced hat-trick hero Erling Haaland in the 90th minute. He did get starts in our only 2 Carabao Cup games, the first on the 24th of September, a tight 2-1 home win over Watford. A couple of his matchday involvements in that game. After 1 minute, City straight at it with Grealish charging down the left and pulling the ball back for James McAtee, who mistimed his effort. A little bit over keen, I thought. Then on 5 minutes, it's 1-0. Watford divvied at the back. This time, James McAtee does well on the left, seized on a poor back pass, spun and fed Jack Grealish, who angled the ball to Doku, who fooled James Morris with a nice drag across and beat Jonathan Bond, the Hornets goalkeeper, with a nice curler. Simon Pekowski said some nice work on and off the ball in this game, taking the ball from the keeper for the first goal, although he'll root an early missed chance, and scored him a 7. Me should have been more comfortable against championship opposition, but like most was okay and had a big say in City's first. He was always busy, I thought, and scored him a 6.5. City visited Slovan Bratislava on the 1st of October, winning 4-0. Off the bench, he replaced Haaland on 61 minutes, and he got his first senior Champions League and City goal from 8 yards to make it 4-0. A nice touch to control the ball and smacking it past the keeper. A lovely move that involved Lewis, a nice Foden dink, Stones and numerous others in maroon on the night. Sadly, his parents were watching James's brother that night, the same night, so he didn't manage to see his goal live, but such a shame. On 77 minutes he went through, but the keeper denied him that time, so he denied him a second goal. Sam Bukowski said of his game, a lovely first goal for City, scored him a 7. I also give him a 7. A great goal and close a couple of times. I was really happy for him, I said. Pep on James McAtee. Everyone adores him. You've seen the reaction of the players, so everyone loves him, the boss said. I have the feeling the same as in the beginning. With teams who play so deep, he has the quality to find it. He scored and had a few more chances. I always had the feeling that I believe more he can play here than he does. Hopefully minutes can help him and show that he's part of that. Of course, he will not be a regular player this season, but in a lot of games he will help us. And when he plays like he did today, I can always count on him perfectly. James himself said, I'm buzzing. Yeah, I could have got another one like 5 minutes after. I'm over the moon. I think this is what every kid dreams of, so it's definitely a dream come true. More Champions League minutes in the game already won on the 23rd of October, a 5-0 Etihad win over Sparta Prague, and some nice touches coming on for Bernardo after 69 minutes. His second Carabao Cup appearance was a 2-1 defeat at Spurs on the 30th of October 2024. Simon Bukowski said of the game, good, did not look out of place as he drove at Spurs players and pushed to get City back in the game. Plenty of running too, he scored him a 7. Again, a 6.5 from me. I said, like watching Michael Brown of City and Spurs. Is that a good thing? I did ask for answers on a postcard. I didn't get too many on that one. With City 3-0 up in the Champions League at home to Feyenoord on November the 26th, he was the 69th minute replacement for Gundo. He picked up a yellow card for wasting time, and let me say now, the 3-3 scoreline I'm not particularly putting as his fault, although Simon Bukowski scored his cameo only a 5, saying charged about without much luck and was booked. He was a 90th minute replacement for Aki in a 3-0 home win over Forest on the 4th of December. He finished the year a 66th minute sub for Foden in a 3-0 Etihad win over Leicester on the 29th of December. This is taken from my match report. On 74 minutes, it's Leicester 0, City 2. McAtee spins clear down the right touchline, then shimmies to create space, taking out 2 Leicester players, then puts it infield for De Bruyne, who shuttles the ball onto Xavi on the left. Xavi scoops into the box. Haaland, unmarked, rises 6 yards out and steers into the left-hand side of the net. But a reprimand of sorts of Pep late on. Yes, he got told off. 85th minute, McAtee looks for the top left corner with a curler from 25 yards. Too high though, never going in. I went to that one, it never looked like it was going in. Pep did get his eye and tell him not to make speculative attempts but keep it circulating. So a bit of a telling off, even though I say he changed the game with that spin on the touchline and the creation of that goal. Simon Bukowski said, had the fans singing his name inside 10 minutes for his part in that second goal, scored him a 7 out of 10. I said, well done lad, don't listen to Pep. Anyway, has not had the confidence knocked out of him like many of the others. Keep going when you get a chance. A 7 from me as well. Another late substitution in a 4-1 home win over West Ham on the 4th of January. Possibly his best was to come, of course, 7 days later in the FA Cup, an 8-0 win over Salford City where he weighed in with a hat-trick. His hometown, of course. 62 minutes, his first, a lovely flick at the near post across the keeper from a Doku cross that made it 5-0. 72 minutes for 7-0, he stopped a Foden shot and then stroked it past the keeper from 6 yards out. On 81 minutes, he slides in 10 yards out to side foot a Grealish cross for his 3rd and City's 8th. Simon Bukowski said quiet in the first half but enjoyed himself as the spaces opened up in the second half and 3 well taken goals. He scored him a 9 out of 10. I said he makes the odd Rick, but just gets on with it with first home goal, first hat-trick, not bad at all, and I also scored him a 9 out of 10. In his last big City interview and article before he left us just months later, he did a feature for the City podcast. This piece is taken from that as reproduced in the City Matchday magazine against Club Brugge. on the 29th of January 2025. It was entitled Tough Love. The piece went on to say City midfielder James McAtee tells the official City podcast about his hat-trick against his hometown club, getting crunched by his brother and that turn at Leicester. McAtee does not have to look too far from home to find his toughest opponent. It was his big brother John in the back garden of the Salford home. The brothers are 3 years apart in age, and that made for some bruising encounters when they faced each other in one-on-one games as kids. Good preparation for some of the Premier League's more physical defenders. John is now an attacking midfielder for Bolton Wanderers, and the two have actually faced each other in earnest when James played for City's under-21 side against Scunthorpe in 2020. John may have had the upper hand in the background, but but James in the background as well. But James had the last laugh with assists for Ben Knight and Samuel Edozie as the Young Blues ran out 4-0 winners. That was the first time I ever played against him on a professional pitch, but we're both attackers, so we weren't against each other much, James told the official podcast. It was fun, it was good to be against him. I was trying to outplay him, and he was just trying to beat me, but he never did. That was his mindset going into it. He gave me a little WhatsApp message saying, if you get a ball near me, I'm going to absolutely crunch you. He laughs, but he never did. That sibling rivalry has certainly spurred both players on in their careers, and James clearly learned a valuable lesson from those boyhood encounters. When we were younger, he just used to crush me. One-on-one in the garden, he'd just crush me every time. It wasn't even like get the ball, it was just knee-high to smash me. Typical brothers. That may explain why the young McAtee is such a skillful footballer, and he's developed markedly this season under Pep Guardiola's guidance after two highly contrasted seasons on loan at Sheffield United. City fans have taken to him not simply because he is a local boy and academy products, but because he has an attractive attacking style. This was in evidence when he went onto the pitch at Leicester City as a substitute a few weeks ago and produced a gorgeous change of feet and turn of pace to open up the Foxes' defence and create an opening which Erling Haaland capitulated or exploited to make 2-0. Teammates flocked across to congratulate him for the turn, but McAtee was a little taken aback at all the fuss. In the moment when we scored the goal, I knew I got around one player, but it wasn't like, oh, I've created the goal. But then obviously the way the lads have celebrated with me afterwards, I thought it must have been decent. I have to watch it back. Now. That earned the 22-year-old a start against his hometown club Salford City in the FA Cup, third round a fortnight later, and again made his appearance felt with a hat-trick in our 8-0 win. That display earned him a Man of the Match award, but McAtee says the game was not all plain sailing. I was quite frustrated I wasn't getting the ball, so if you see my first goal when I celebrate, I'm just relieved to get it out of me. So I was just happy after the first goal. Once you get the first goal, you're sort of more relaxed. Then the ball was finding me a little bit more and I was enjoying myself. I never really thought of it like, oh, I'm from Salford and I'm playing for Salford. I pulled that out of my hand. I put that out of my head. I don't know any of their players personally, so it didn't feel like I was playing my hometown or anything. So which of his 3 goals, the first time he's performed the feat at senior level, was his favourite? Definitely the first one, it was the hardest to score. The second one, obviously, I got a bit lucky in my positioning. And then the third one is a straightforward finish, but it was on my right, so I'll take that. McAtee, of course, is better known for his creative approach play than his goals, but he says he cannot decide whether he prefers making them or taking them. People ask if you prefer scoring goals to assists, but I can't answer, he said. It depends on the goal or the assist. Say you beat 2 men and put a great ball in. I'd rather do that than score a tap-in. I'd feel happier about it. McAtee has been building his career towards this season where he's been a full and active member of Pep's squad and is showing what he can do in the final third. After starting throughout the academy age groups and in the England youth setup, he was sent to play for Sheffield United in the Championship. He became a fan's favourite there and helped the Blaze promotion into an FA Cup semi-final. He rejoined the South Yorkshire club the following season for more sobering experience of relegation from the Premier League, a stark contrast to the previous 12 months, but nevertheless one which provided him with a valuable experience in dealing with tough times in football. I'm still developing, he said. From the start of the season, I'm so much more comfortable on the ball. I've definitely grown on the physical side that came from Sheffield. Obviously, it was a tough time for me as well in the Premier League, not having much of a ball. We struggled in some games and it was mentally tough. From the EDS, I just say I've grown up. I'm definitely more relaxed than I was then. I'm just more chilled out, and I knew that what I want from the game, and that's the main difference. This season we did well, it was better for development. In the second season, I learned a few things, but maybe not as much as I could. It was obviously a tough time for the whole team. That relegation season provided the youngster with a mental toughness which has helped him cope with our own difficult phase this term, and feels that it's only a matter of time and regain confidence before we are back to consistent winning ways. We just need to keep our heads down and keep going and try the same route. Don't try to change everything and never go on another losing streak, he said. It's just considered at the moment, and once the belief is back, we'll go on a run again. In terms of his personal aims, he says it's simple, just to keep trying. If I get minutes to try to impact the game, sometimes it's hard. You might get minutes when it's 3-0. It's hard to impact the game from that because you want to keep the ball. But say like at Leicester, when I got the opportunity to come on at 1-0, I got to impact the game. We went 2-0 up and the game felt more secure. The maturity he has shown on the pitch is no coincidence. It comes from doing the right things off the pitch. And that is the flip side of the England under-21 internationals mantra for the rest of this campaign. I'm trying to keep my good habits to train well, eat well, stay fit, he says. They're my good habits. And sometimes maybe if I'm playing well and then it slackens off a little bit, I might have the odd bad training session. If I have a bad training session, it frustrates the life out of me. I've not had that many this year. McAtee comes from a sports-mad family. His great uncle Alan Ball won the World Cup with England in 1966, as well as going on to manage us. While Dad John was a halfback for St Helens in the tough world of rugby league. Naturally, that meant McAtee had to choose his sport, but it was no contest really. I played rugby when I was 7 and didn't like it. I went straight to football. He said, "It's an aggressive sport. I don't want to be just running into people and getting smashed. It's not for me, unless John's doing it to you, of course. It was always going to be football. I started when I was young, so there's no looking back. I was only 5 or 6. When I was young, obviously, I just enjoyed doing it. No one knows if you're good or not when you're young. I just love playing. I'm not a big fan of watching it, but when I'm playing, it's the best thing. Sometimes when I'm stressed or nervous, I realise that I'm playing because I love the game." There you go, guys. Join me in part 3, where we'll look back on the pitch action of his time at City. So any memories you've got, let me know of James McAtee. My thanks for all the media things I've used for this. Please, if you do like the channel, do like what I try and do on here. I'm always after any sort of support or help with the channel, ways of doing that, or if you just want to contact through my various socials, or you just want to make any comments, you can do that. But if you do want to support the channel, guys, and like what I try and do, just stay watching and listening. Thanks for that, guys. Hope you enjoyed the feature anyway, and please, if you can, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, that'd be wonderful. And if you're not already a subscriber, it'd be great if you could subscribe. It's absolutely free. Also, check out all my social media links. Will be in the description and comments below if you want to follow me on TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook. We can chat on there and do all things City, of course. Also, if you're into film and TV, don't forget a lot of this channel is film and TV stuff. I love me film and TV like I do City. So if you're into that, have a look. Or even though someone who might not be that bothered about the football but likes film and TV, give them a kick in my direction. I'll be very grateful. And special thanks as ever to supporters of the channel. Piat6505. They've got a little eBay shop selling film and TV memorabilia mainly, including books, magazines, posters, lots of posters, and they do have some City stuff as well that they've purloined off me over time, so there'll be a few bits and pieces, probably more going on as well. So have a look at Piat6505 on eBay. And yes, if you do go onto eBay, and if you're a member, we do have memberships, 99p a month. You get early access to all my vlogs, so as soon as I do them, you get them. Sometimes it could be months before they're published generally, so a lot of the history stuff, so you have access. The membership gives you access to that. It gives you 10% extra off at Piat6505 if you want to buy any of that memorabilia. So that you can actually gain that from being a member and support the channel. That's a great way of supporting the channel, of course, like watching the ads on the original thing that you've seen now, my original feature. That'd be fantastic. So yeah, also before we go, podcasts. If you like your podcasts, I do a podcast with Mike Long in South Korea. It's called Bolt from the Blue in our 8th season. Yeah, we've had some good fun on there. We're trying to have a bit of humour, generally look at City's games as and when we play them, have a look back. So please check out that. It's on SoundCloud, Spotify, all good places you get your podcasts from. There you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed everything about this feature, and you didn't mind me asking you about this at the end. And please, all I ever ask for you is to stay safe, everyone, especially you boys.
Yeah.